Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am here on Business Spotlight with my good friend Adam McChesney of Hite Digital. Adam, how's it going, brother?
Good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. I'm good, man. I really am doing very well, and a lot of it has to do with the CRM you implemented. Just saying.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. So talk us through your journey, because you've definitely worn a lot of hats, and you're someone I respect in the space. So tell us how you got started.
I appreciate that, man. So I spent 5 years in medical device sales right out of college. So kind of cut my teeth in corporate America, also working for a small company. I managed a $25 million a year territory working for a company called ResMed. So sold CPAP equipment, traveled across the country, mostly out of the state of Missouri my last couple of years. And had everything that pretty much everybody ever wanted, going to the college, graduating college, getting that corporate job, the security, the 401k, the benefits, all that good stuff. And I felt unfulfilled once I had kind of reached every level. And when I had reached that last level before I left, I was like, man, I'm 10 years younger than the next youngest person in this role. The next role looks like a lot more responsibility for a little bit more pay
Yeah.
and a lot more travel. And I was just getting married, process of getting married to my now wife, Delaney. We didn't have kids at the time. Now we have our first kid on the way. And I just thought to myself, if this is what the quote unquote American dream is, like, it's not much of an American dream. The money's great, but you're kind of sacrificing, your time for it. Right. So
Yeah.
back in 2018, I started looking for ways to make money online. And I typed in everything that most people type in when they go to make the easy buck online. And I came across an ad that taught me how to build digital real estate in the form of digital marketing. So from 2018 until 2020, when I left, I built 200 websites myself that basically I would rank to the first page of Google. I was throwing everything against the wall, against all Google's algorithms, seeing what stuck and what didn't. And then I would rent out the call volume to a local business. So whether that's pay per lead, commission deals, monthly rent, whatever you want to do, like, I was open for it. Never really took off because I was kind of doing it on the side, but I was able to build up, case studies and experiments and do all these different things. So the pandemic obviously comes. I'm cooped up in my home, whereas I had been traveling all over the country, and it allowed me to really double down on the side hustle. 2 months went by and I'm like, this is taking up a lot of time and energy, and I have something here. Let's go full time with it. So our fiscal year ended on June 31st of 2020, or 31st, or whatever it would have ended up being, and put my 2 weeks in on July 1st, and then transitioned out from there. The shift happened when I started to try to go make a bunch of money from it. And people were like, hey, I love this digital real estate model that you're doing, but I want the assets. Like, I don't want you to own everything. And I was, of course, following the money because I just left medical device sales making good money. So I started building websites, doing SEO, doing paid ads, automation, all that stuff for other businesses, and doing it for their brands, one-time fees and then retainers and all that stuff. And so I did that for 9 months on my own, only ever got to about 20, 25 clients, and was pretty good at doing it, but I was just creating a job for myself. So the opportunity with Hite had came around, and they were going from a white label model to working with agencies to doing it in this franchise model that I'm at right now. So franchisee of Hite Digital as it stands today, we're working on a merger where I'll actually become a part of the franchisor as well, which I'm super excited about. So I get a bigger piece of the pie. And ultimately, we help businesses of all shapes and sizes, everything from logos and branding to website design, CRM, SEO, PPC, Facebook ads, all of that stuff. And we were named the Inc. 5000 last year. We have about 200 full-time employees across the country and across the world. 700 plus clients, and just doing some really cool stuff.
That's awesome, man. That's a hell of a journey.
It is. It is.
What were the biggest roadblocks for you in this? Like,
I think, Yeah, absolutely. So I look back at like where I got started and where I got stuck. I think myself was one of the biggest bottlenecks. And so when I started in digital marketing full time, I didn't want to sell. I was like, I just want to do the work. I'm going to sit behind a computer and I want that computer to be anywhere in the world so I can do the freedom aspect. And I want to do it on my own time. And then I realized I hated the crap out of building websites and doing SEO, even though I was really good at it. But I didn't have any processes and systems in place. I had no team members. I didn't know how to coach and manage people and even fire. Like, I was truly the bottleneck. And I realized I did like selling. And so I kind of got back into that, and I had kind of created a fulfillment problem, and that was a bottleneck. And so I think I realized my true strengths and weaknesses and really where my ego kind of sets in to a lot of that stuff, and that I'm really good at what I'm good at, but I was trying to put myself in a different box because I had such a bad experience kind of running myself into the ground in corporate America.
Got it. That makes sense. So let's like kind of recap here because I think it's important. You didn't love your job, right?
Yep.
You started a side hustle to develop a skill. You developed a skill, and then you realized, hey, I'm going to make this a business. And then you realized running a business is not really that easy. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And you put your systems, processes in place, and now you're here today.
Yes, that is a very good summary.
It's the truth. That's how almost all of us do it, right?
Yep.
I mean, I was consulting for a lot of the fintech companies, and then decided, hey, none of you guys are doing it right. And then
I'm just gonna go do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just gonna go do it and build it out how I see fit. And I never look back. So a lot of parallels there.
It is.
Talk to us a little bit about some of the differences with some of the CRMs and what you guys do, because like I've used a lot of CRMs, consulting for different fintechs. I've dealt with people's proprietary ones, which are usually a nightmare. Okay. I've dealt with, the Salesforces of the world, which are crazy expensive. Tons of features, but crazy expensive.
Yeah.
And then you guys I think you guys combine it all pretty nicely. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what your approach is when you're building stuff out for clients?
Yeah. And I think it kind of goes not only to the CRM stuff, but really everything that we touch and that we offer. Our model is just set up to empower businesses of any shape and size to meet them where they're at. A lot of CRMs, a lot of marketing companies try to put you in this box so that way they can play to their strengths and try to scale that, which doesn't even necessarily work on the marketing side. It doesn't really work on the end user or the small business side. So what we like to do specifically with our CRM is we use other technology with our best assets, which is our people, right? So we will build things custom and we will make things and tools to make the business more efficient and meet you where you're at versus saying, hey, here's this box you got to play in. If you can't play in this box or you don't like this box, you either got to deal with it or go to something else. Yeah. And so it's a very back and forth conversation, but also our support, like I think everybody has this misconception, and you've dealt with it as well, is that technology and marketing, like there's a company out there that has no issues and no problems. Even our greatest clients, the biggest success stories, like the reason why people work with us is because they know that we're going to help them solve problems, because problems will occur and arise, and you need to make sure that the company that you're working with is going to go to bat with you and help you solve those problems and issues with you, not against you. And so our people, the people that we build up and that run our departments and that do the day-to-day stuff, like we invest so much time, money, and energy and resources into them so that way they can help our clients when those things occur, obviously, as well as the day-to-day stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you're just talking it out. Your CRM is pretty, we've never really had to need you guys for anything because it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. It's easy.
You know what I mean?
We meet you where you're at, and We have all the bells and whistles if you need it, but we don't start out and throw all that stuff at you. We make sure that if there's something more that's needed, we will go facilitate that, not try to get you scared in the beginning and be like, this is way too much.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way, like I can sign up a referral partner, match and mimic their page, give them that link, and they just put another tab on the website that says financing. Their clients have no idea that, they're financing through a third party.
Yep.
And we're just getting everything.
Easy.
And it's easily trackable too. It's great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's solid. Tell us about the marketing and like a simple intake form. You talk about meeting people where they're at. Like, how do you do that analysis? Walk us through that process.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do really well is we don't take on every single client. So like I'm in all the same groups that you're in. I get tagged all of the time. And like, we just can't help out a majority of businesses. Our two main pillars of the businesses that we help on the digital marketing side, not necessarily the CRM side, but the digital marketing side, are professional services. So anything from lawyers to dentists to chiropractors and accountants to home service businesses and contractors. So your roofers, HVAC, plumbers, remodelers, all those different types of things. We don't try to take on every single client that comes to us because we know we can't help those people. We're really good at what we're good at. And we will do an in-depth audit, like a 4 to 5 minute video audit. And I can tell based on where somebody is at online in that audit, if we can help them. I know in that 4 to 5 minutes, and I'll send that video, or my team will send that video audit over to somebody. They'll look at it. They'll usually be intrigued to at least have a conversation. Or sometimes we're like, hey, what you got going is pretty good. I understand you might think the grass is greener on the other side, but that way. Yep. And then we'll do an entire strategy deck and proposal based on that audit video. So we try to streamline every part of the process from audit video, initial discovery call, all the way through you becoming a client. And with that end-to-end functionality, you're not talking to a sales rep at a marketing company that's telling you one thing, and then the strategy team is telling you another thing, and then the onboarding person and the account manager, like we're very well synchronized, which helps us set people up for success and not necessarily the over promise and under deliver that most people are used to in marketing in some shape or form.
Yep. I mean, the problem is marketing, they think, I'm speaking generally, right? But everyone thinks they can market for anything. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the reality is there's a big difference between a local brick and mortar and a national company like mine, right? There's a difference between like standard industries that you can kind of do anything and everything with, and there's no restrictions. And then anything that has to do with credit, financing, health, weight loss. Like there are levels to this game.
Yes.
And I think the problem is everyone thinks that, hey, I could run ads for it. Doesn't matter if you can run ads. It's getting them approved and then getting traffic through that and fun.
Exactly. And meeting the clients where they're at, right? So the reason why we stick to those two main pillars, and people are like, how is a personal injury attorney and a roofer, how can you cater to both of those things? Well, it's because we're primarily doing search engine optimization and Google Ads. When you are in a car accident and when a storm happens and there's a hole in your roof, where are you going? You're going to Google. Yeah. Now, the strategies within each industry are different, but if we can start with the end in mind and work our way backwards, that's where the strategies aren't so necessarily different. They're different in how you approach that, but that's where we focus in. Whereas a lot of marketing agencies they're like, I'll take anything under the sun because they're very sales heavy organizations. Yeah. Our model is so interesting because we're the only agency in the space that operates in this franchise model. We have 200 full-time employees with no real sales team. Most of our team is account management, strategy, and support and fulfillment, whereas a lot of organizations that are similar in our size are 80 to 90% sales with 10% fulfillment. You're always going to have a fulfillment problem.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big difference.
It
Big
is.
difference. And people don't like the other thing you said is like people have to understand there's more than one way to get the word out, right? There's referrals, there's
Yep.
SEO, there's ads on every social platform you can think of, there's banner ads, there's email marketing. And so what I've learned at least is most people are good at one thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So work with that person on that one thing, but you have to be able to understand what your clients are looking for, where they're going, what they need to hear or see, and then make it all make sense from them from that point on.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people miss that boat entirely.
Oh, it's literally all like right now. Everybody's like, "Hey, I want to be on TikTok. I want to be on these reels. I want to be on YouTube Short." And it's like, for what? Like, like for the sake of what? Yeah, you can go get a bunch of attention. You can go get all these eyeballs. And I saw somebody talk about the other day. They had like 1.3 million increase in users on Instagram because of reels, but the page that he was sending everybody to, it converted like nothing. And it's because if you have all of the wrong eyeballs on there, it doesn't really matter how many eyeballs you have on there if it's not equating to return on investment, even if it's just organic stuff. So people like to flock to where the market goes and what's the latest and greatest. But a lot of times people miss the boat because they're marketing and trying to advertise to all of the wrong people.
Yep. Yeah, I don't care. Like I always tell everyone, I don't care how much I spend. I care how much I make, right? If I'm doing 30, 40, $50,000 a month in ad spend, I'll keep doing it if it's producing, 70 to 100, 200K all day long.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people fail to see that, but that's what matters, And you need a good back end system too. Like if you're just marketing just to market, get the word out there, but you can't close anything, what's the point?
That's simultaneously with not understanding who your ideal client is, where they play in the digital sandbox, or where they play in the sandbox in general is like the biggest thing. Everybody says that they have a lead problem. Like we just brought on a client recently in his first 6 weeks. He's quoted like 100K. He's a contractor, but he's only closed 12 of it. And I'm like, well, on the onboarding call, like you literally told us that you close at an 80% clip. And I challenged you on that because you're only used to word of mouth. Yep. You're probably going to close when like Sally down the street sends you her grandma. You're probably going to close that at a higher clip than a digital marketing lead. But the difference is that if you don't answer that call right away, you don't have a CRM to automate a lot of this stuff, and you don't have a good back-end process for fulfillment, they're going to move on to the next company because they don't know who you are. It's a good and a bad thing, right? And so many people get that wrong. They're like, I need more leads. I need more leads. It's like, no, you would rather have more quality and close at a higher rate with a higher profit margin and get through that project quicker. So that way you can move on to the next one and then scale it from there.
Yeah, it's incredible how many people I see that do not have systems and automation set up. Like it's insane to me. I invested in a franchise, and when I invested in the franchise, I didn't know they didn't have a CRM. I shit you not, no CRM. They were using Google Sheets. Massive $1.6 million loss later. Did we make adjustments? Yeah, but too little, too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah.
And like it all flows, it all connects. Like that's one thing. And when you are online, to your point, right? When someone's online, speed is everything. You're not answering them. They're on to the next search result. They're on to that next thing. And people do not fathom that.
Oh yeah. We live in a world of what can you do for me literally right now, and especially when you don't have those other things in place, like it just you're missing the boat, right? Like you can't scale word of mouth and referrals past whatever you're doing right now. Like it literally causes you to be in there and making relationships and doing all those things, which are great, right? But at some point, if you want to grow it and scale it beyond what you're currently doing, you're going to have different forms of marketing and advertising along with the automations, along with something that if somebody were looking at your business today, would somebody invest in that or buy that business? Or are they going to be like, hey, you have no real assets? A lot of people don't really have assets in business.
No, which is insane. No systems, no processes, no training, no standard onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these are, things that you see every day. That's why most businesses don't sell.
Yeah.
Like the majority of them do not sell.
Yeah. Or sell for a fraction of what they could be worth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the top 5 mistakes you see people making today?
I think the biggest mistake is that they don't give marketing enough time. And that's easy for somebody to say that's running a marketing agency. But I think people think even if they're doing paid advertising or if they're doing organic or if they're just posting organically themselves, they just quit before the going gets really, really good. All of this stuff changes so quickly and all of this stuff needs time. I look at everything that is online as like your digital real estate. That's super, super important. You need to continue to water those plants, no different than you continue to go to the gym and eat healthy and do all of those things. You have that foundation and you build the house on a solid foundation. So number one is that they give up too easily. Number two is we're seeing a lot of people come over to us that they don't own any of their digital assets. They don't own their website. They might be lucky enough if they own their domain, hopefully so, but they don't own the website. So we have to redesign the website. They don't own the ad accounts. There's a lot of companies that are out there right now, especially those large national companies that are literally, you're signing a contract to turn over your website to them.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like literally we're designing so many websites right now, not because, we love to design them and we're good at it, but we would rather take somebody's existing website if it's good and they own it than try to reinvent the wheel every single time. It just doesn't make sense. So we're seeing that happen a lot and people come to us thinking they own their website and then we go down the path and they don't own it. So you're continuing to rent that stuff from that company and it just doesn't make sense. I think number 3 is really that, again, kind of what you said earlier and we were talking about is they can't handle more leads. They want more leads because it's the sexy thing to do, but they actually have a sales and fulfillment and processes and systems problem, not a marketing problem. Those are kind of the 3 big things. And then of course, I think people don't ever budget correctly or enough for marketing. People try to get by super, super low because they've never done it before. And then they'll give marketing a try for 30, 60, or 90 days and be like, hey, digital marketing or marketing sucks. This stuff doesn't work. And then number 5 is tracking, right? So like we provide all of our clients with tracking numbers and dashboards for you to be able to see every contact form, where it came from, all those different things. But even though we supply that to people, a lot of times people don't go into the dashboard to even look at it, right? Or if they're doing it on their own, or if a lot of people are still doing print, which in certain industries, it still works. They don't have a tracking number that goes out there. They do a billboard. They don't do tracking. They don't use QR codes. They don't use landing page. Like tracking and data is literally everything in this age. You can gamify marketing if you know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you're screwed.
Yeah. That's crazy. I can't even believe half of that stuff.
It's more
just because I also think it's how competitive is the space you're in.
Yeah.
Right. Like my space is very, very competitive. So if I don't know that and I can't provide feedback to who's ever running my ads and who's ever taking the leads on my end,
yeah,
I'm setting up for disaster.
Absolutely. It's digital marketing is a very competitive space because there's no regulation. Anybody and their brother and sister can get into it. And then a lot of the industries that people market for are all competitive as well. And so you want to make sure that you're working with a company that knows what they're doing. Obviously, you own you own your stuff. They don't own it. And that they at least have the bandwidth to be able to grow and scale with you. There are, one of the biggest reasons why I made the transition over to Hite wasn't that I wasn't good at taking care and providing results for those 20 clients. I just knew what I wanted to do as a business owner, which I needed to get selfish at that time because I was crazy and all over the place. But I knew I couldn't continue to do that and provide that same level of service and results and all those things unless I built a team around me. So you also want to make sure that when you're hiring that company, like what's the actual support, not the guy that you're talking to or the girl that you're talking to that you're like, hey, they're telling me everything I want to hear, but like, what's the meat and the potatoes of that I'm getting? Because for me as the business owner, like I'm out of the sales process now. So I have our director of client success that anytime a lead comes in, I'll connect them with her. We'll hop on a call and she'll take it from there because I want our clients or our prospective clients to get a better understanding of what it looks like. Like people are going to come and think that they're going to get Adam. Never that I would tell them that, but they need to understand like, hey, you have to see what our bigger picture is. And it's working a lot better than I anticipated. I was so worried about giving that up and removing that hat in the company, but it's building trust. It's building transparency. And people are like, wow, I thought it was just Adam with a couple other people. Now they're like, wow, every person I talk to is really good at their zone, which makes me more confident because that's what I need. I don't need Adam in the weeds on everything.
Yep. Hire specialists. Hire for the shit that you don't want to do.
Yes.
That's the truth. You know? I do think everyone has to do it though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as an owner, you need to know how everything flows and how it's supposed to be done, and then hire for it. Not the other way around.
Not the other way around. Absolutely.
I see way too many people bring people on and say, all right, you're going to do this. And then you don't know what they're doing and you can't coach them on it. So,
yeah. And it also, like over the weekend, we had a new client that onboarded and they forgot to tell us that they needed one of their new employees on the back end of a contact form. So it's like, if I'm not going to call my team on the weekend and the client should have told us that week, but it's a brand new client. I'm just going to go in and do it myself. And they thought it was the most amazing thing since sliced bread because they usually were accustomed to 72-hour contact turnarounds from their last agency, even during the week. And I did it on a Saturday night. If I don't know what everything that we do, I can't step in those situations.
100%, man. So give some advice, right? We're clearly in a recession.
Mm.
A lot of people look to cut costs. Kills me when people cut marketing because that doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Give us some advice for businesses right now that are just trying to grow throughout this recession.
So I think the big things that you can do are the organic and free things. So if you're looking to cut marketing, you absolutely have to do it, which again, I don't recommend either. You have to be doing your organic side. People will start paying for ads or they'll start paying for SEO and they're not doing the free stuff, which again, it's like, regardless, you need to continue to get reviews. Like for your brick and mortars and your local service-based businesses, reviews are absolutely like the biggest thing that you can do. Because I own 2 other companies that I built off of those initial websites, an auto glass company and a landscape design company. And I don't know anything about either of those industries. I have teams that run those things, but like we're SEO focused and we just have this stronghold up there because our auto glass company has almost 300 reviews in less than 2 years. But we're doing all of the free things and we've never had to dump money into paid advertising. Yep. So reviews and testimonials, absolutely huge. Posting to your Google business listing, posting blogs on your website, organically posting on your personal Facebook page as the business owner or a sales rep. Also posting organically to your business page. There's so many free things that you can be doing that if you absolutely have to cut marketing costs, or if you're already doing marketing, make sure you're doing those things. I see so many people, like I literally, I was talking to a guy earlier today, he's like, I'm going to sign up with you for the SEO stuff, but I want somebody to respond to my customer reviews. I want somebody to post organically on all my social media outlets across these 5 different platforms. I'm like, dude, hold up, man. Like people can see through that stuff.
Yep.
We're going to do the behind the scenes stuff to get your stuff out there more, but like you don't want somebody else responding to your reviews. You don't want me or my team writing posts on your personal or your business page, because people are going to see through that crap.
Yeah.
Like, if you can only do it once a week, whatever it might be, like, do those things regardless if you're hiring a marketing company. And you may never need a marketing company unless you want to grow and scale, right? A lot of people just want to like get to that level that's good for them and their family, which is great. A lot of people want to grow, but they're not even doing the free things. And then when they do start doing the free things, they're like, this is too hard, I want to go hire somebody to do it. Well, that's how you lose a lot of money doing marketing, when you're not doing the things that you should just be doing every single day.
Yep. And I can tell you, I have built multiple 7-figure businesses, no problem, with 0 ad spend.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I can't say the same about going 7 to 8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can figure it out and get into a nice rhythm with no ad spend, and then make sure everything is tight, and then turn on the ads.
Oh yeah,
for sure, man. Well, listen, this was awesome. What is there anything that you want to leave people with before we tell them where to find you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just kind of the stuff that we've already talked about, is make sure that I always tell people, if you want to get started with marketing right now and you have a faulty foundation on your house, we're not going to recommend doing it. So don't just go start throwing money into marketing and advertising because you feel like that's what you need to do because you heard it from somebody else online. Like, make sure your stuff is bulletproof, from your processes and systems to your follow-up to your CRM. Make sure you have a CRM. The last thing you want to do is start throwing money at marketing and advertising if you don't have those things. And make sure that all of your assets are owned and operated by you as the company. Don't start building and trying to scale on that faulty foundation. No different than you would not do that on a house, right? So always make sure that you have that foundation strong, bulletproof, so that way as you begin to stack and scale, you don't have issues of everything crumbling down.
Dude, I love it. If someone wants to work with you or they have questions, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on Instagram at Adam L. McChesney, or you can go to AdamMcChesney.com. You'll see all my social stuff, my websites, and all that good stuff.
Awesome, brother. Hey, thank you so much. This was incredible. I'm sure it helped a lot of people, especially people that are worried about lead flow and marketing, man. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate the time, man. Thanks for having me.